Next question comes from George Matthews.
Hey, George.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Pro-life should always include the mother. Say that again. Pro-life should always include the mother.
Yeah.
I've had several friends that have had troubled pregnancies.
Yeah.
And if abortion services were not available, they may not be with us any longer.
Yeah.
Given the so-called exceptions that some states have included are actually a little too ambiguous for doctors to risk their careers or their freedom, what will you do to protect the lives of these mothers?
Well, the exceptions cannot be ambiguous. And the doctors have to feel confident that they can, do what they have to do to protect the mother's life. And that's something that I've talked about in terms of what exceptions I would support, whether they be at a federal level, as president, because as president I would be dealing with federal legislation. So I would support a federal legislation that has clear exemptions so that doctors do feel protected to be able to save a mother's life in a troubled pregnancy type of scenario.
And Mayor, in that federal legislation, where would you draw the line in terms of weeks gestation?
So, obviously it's a negotiation. I would be comfortable at 15 weeks. I'll tell you that as a mayor, we have the 4th largest public hospital in America. And I've seen babies born at 22, 21 weeks in an incubator that make it to full term. So to me, that's sort of the viability threshold. And so that's where I feel comfortable. I am pro-life personally. My wife, my 3 sisters, no brothers, mother-in-law, who would certainly give me a hard time. But that's my personal view. I think this is one of the issues that we cheapen by not having more profound discussions and make them into 30-second sound bites or 2-minute sound bites. So I actually appreciate the venue to be able to have a more comprehensive conversation because it's very nuanced. My sister's an OBGYN. I don't think I've ever said that publicly, but I have confidential conversations about some of the struggles that she has. It's hard as a doctor. It's very difficult. And when you hear some of the cases, and obviously this is anonymous, right? No HIPAA violations or anything. But when you hear some of the cases that you're talking about, the struggles that mothers have to go through, it's very heart-wrenching.